Today, we're going to compare NVIDIA versus AMD. One of these is a monster, and one of these could be a mistake. Let's jump right into it. So first, let's look at these two charts right here. On the left-hand side is NVIDIA. On the right-hand side is AMD. And you can see one of these looks really sharp. The other one looks like it's a blunted knife, right? It just got ran into a solid brick wall right here. But I want to rank them, right? I want to go step by step and rank them using our OVTLYR Nine template. But not only that, there's a lot of news going on with these guys. So I found a couple news articles that I wanted to jump into. So if that's the case, why is AMD getting hit and yet NVIDIA is not, right? If they both sell the same thing, why is this one struggling so hard and this one isn't? All right. So we've got some news on NVIDIA, some news on AMD. Billionaire David Tepper is selling NVIDIA, AMD, and TSMC and loading up on shares of this $1 trillion AI stock instead. What a headline that is. Let's scroll down just a little bit. Spoiler alert, he's buying AVGO Broadcom. He's buying Broadcom. Let's go look at Broadcom's chart real quick. AVGO. AVGO looks a lot more like NVIDIA than it does AMD. Look at that chart, right? Look at that chart, right? What else? NVIDIA holds near highs as AMD and Supo Micro disappoint. In fact, Supermicro SMCI got absolutely monkey hammered. You might see some similarities between SMCI and AMD. Okay. Now the picture is starting to get a little more clear, right? AVGO Broadcom looked really sharp. NVIDIA is looking really sharp. SMCI just got absolutely trounced, monkey hammered to death. And then AMD, I don't know. There seems to be some similarities here. Maybe we'll come back to that. Maybe we'll come back to the similarities here. By the way, don't forget, you can only win some cash live here watching if you put hashtag OVTLYR in the chat. So looking at NVIDIA and looking at AMD, if we take the Jim Cramer collapse out of the equation here, let's take a look at them objectively. And every stock has a move that's due to the market, right? The market absolutely is a big contributing factor to any stock out there. I would rank it about 40%. And then the sector. If the sector is strong, it's going to lift everybody up in that sector. And then lastly, the stock. 30% of the move is just due to the stock itself, right? So if you're buying a stock while the market's weak and the sector's weak, you might be buying a dud without even realizing it. So this is why you need to be market aware across all these different parts, right? So let's look at both of these guys together, right? Well, they're both in the same market, right? Of course, they're both in the same sector, in the tech sector. So really, we're just going to be focusing in on the differences down here on the stock level. So let's go take a look at the trend of the market. So we take a look at the trend of the market. The market is definitely in a bullish posture right here. 10 over 20, price over 50 means it's in a bullish trend. Okay. Next, if we go to the SPY, let me go to SPY real quick. We'll come back to AMD. If we go to the SPY, and we look at this, we got a sell signal right here on the SPY. Now that's a huge red flag for me. Chris is not trading anything with a sell signal on the market. And then if we go over to market breadth, we got some other bad news. And that is that the market breadth is continuing to be weaker. Now it hit a bottom and it's starting to come back up just a little bit. But what this is measuring is how many buy signals we have in the market. And we have only 34% of the market has a buy signal. The other 66%, the other 2/3 is a sell signal. And we're getting a few more uptrends, but we're not really seeing a whole lot of downtrends evaporating yet, even though we've got a couple more uptrends at this point. So market breadth is not there either. Okay, so now let's go into the sector. Now remember, both AMD and NVIDIA are in the same sector. So that's going to make that analysis a little bit easier. That's a little bit easier, right? Well, looking down here, this is the average fear and greed score for everything in the sector. And you can see the average fear and greed score across 163 plus 171, 63 plus 171 is 334. So the average fear and greed score of the 334 stocks that make up the tech sector is going down hard and fast. In fact, it's losing its greed, and it could potentially be in fear by Monday. And on the sector, the number of uptrends is pretty much stable, and the number of downtrends is pretty much stable. And the number of buy signals is floored out around 22%, and has been 22% for over a week now. So the breadth of the sector is not looking good. So you've got 70% of what could possibly be helping your stock go up higher and higher and higher bearish. 70% of this is already bearish. That's not a great start. Not a great start. So let's go and only compare the stock versus stock, right? Mono e mono. Let's go look at these two guys. We'll start with AMD. Now, let me put NVIDIA back over here real quick. And before we get too deep, I really want to showcase just how big, beautiful trends are supposed to look, right? Now, no bias here. Just how big, beautiful trends are supposed to look, right? Nothing in its way, looks really sharp. Then there's AMD. And then there's AMD, okay? Now, looking at this, let's look at the trend. Both of these guys have bullish trends, 10 over 20, price over 50. Absolutely, that is the case, 10 over 20, price over 50. So we'll mark that green. Next, both of them actually do have a buy signal. This buy signal on AMD is all the way back on April 28th. And it was a huge buy signal. Look at this. If we mark up April 28th on here, right there, AMD went up like gangbusters, right? You can't call me a perma bear on AMD, but I'm just being honest here. That dude went up 90%. AMD stock went up 90% since that buy signal. That's bonkers. And then we go over here, right? This between here and here, Nvidia did have a buy signal and then a sell and then a brand new buy signal just came through. But from June 26th to August 6th, June 26th to August 6th, let's see. June 26th to August 6th. There. We can see a 16% gain. So AMD had a giant move, a humongous move. Nvidia had a good move, but not to the same extent. We can all agree to that, right? We can all agree to that on the last buy and sell signal. So both of those still show buy signals, so we'll leave that. Fear and greed is very different between these two guys. Very different. You can see on AMD, the fear and greed has been growing up huge, 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 huge. The greed almost since April, so almost 4 entire months, doesn't even look like it slowed down once, just ticked higher day after day after day. And it is now starting to tick lower. It peaked at 89.48, so nearly 100, peaked at 89.48 and is starting to contract. And then if we look at NVIDIA, you can see that it ran up decent, right? It got a peak of around 70, but it's also contracting. It's also contracting. So both of these have worsening fear and greed. So really everything boils down to what is the difference between these two? Absolutely are the trapped buyers on AMD looking to get out versus all-time highs. Whereas AMD is exactly the opposite. Everybody who has bought it between July 24th to today at any point in time could be screaming, oh man, I finally get back to break even. I finally get back to break even. And this is so important. These are areas of big swing moves. These are the outlier blocks, and you can make your charts look exactly like mine for free by using the free trading view plan and the free indicator that we have inside of our Discord. And you may have made a huge killing on this way back up right here, right? You may have made a huge killing on the way back up right here. But I'm telling you, there are people who bought in July of 2024 who are screaming, finally, yes, I can get my money back and get out of this stupid stock. And that's exactly what we saw. It ran up into that order block and got rejected hard down. How much? What kind of percent was that down from its peak to this trough down here? Down over 10%. Down over 10% in the span of just a couple days. Now, it's definitely recovered some, but it's also doubled up on the outlier blocks right there. So the real difference is coming down to this, right? You've got one stock here that is a monster. Hands down, for sure, a monster. And look at how big and strong that monster has become, right? This is the monster under your bed that you don't want to see, right? These are the big guys at Monsters, Inc. who are going through the doors and scaring the bejesus out of people, right? This dude over here was a mistake. This was the mistake that somebody made back in July of 2024 and is just now getting to break even. And man, are they happy to do so. They can't wait to sell out of it. But if you followed this buy signal right here, you could have made a ton of money on AMD. Now, here's what I'm trying to get across here, right? You don't want overhead resistance. Anytime you find overhead resistance, that is an area that I would avoid at all costs. Now, can AMD push up higher through here? For sure. But even once it does, once it breaks through this area at 187, we got order blocks again, outlier blocks again on top of it. So, in my opinion, between these two guys, Nvidia is clearly the monster, and AMD has been a big mistake for a lot of people. However, if you played your cards correctly, if you waited for the trend to go up, the 10 over 20 price over 50 to go up, you just experienced what it's like to trade effortlessly on that enormous move right here. So which one's a monster? Which one's a mistake? NVIDIA is your monster. AMD is your mistake. Now, it's not a mistake for you to go anywhere because now we get to talk about our member highlight and we're going to give away some money here live. So don't go anywhere. Today, I want to showcase a few of our outliers like Jamie Ree. Let's go to Jamie's post real quick here on our Discord. And I want to hear from Jamie. Jamie, what did you have to say, my friend? We curated a handful of posts, so let's go see what Jamie has to say. New to Outlier this week, and so I have to adjust what I would consider a win. Win number one, began rotating my portfolio from a non-plan to a plan using Outlier. Win number two, use the OVTLYR Nine, which I just showed you how to do. Oh my gosh, I literally showed you step by step how to do that. So no excuses. Because like Jamie didn't have excuses. He started using it to exit Amazon, and instead of being a loser, averaging loser for a small gain, instead of riding the dip. Way to go, dude. Win number three, thanks to the plan, I moved my portfolio to 60% cash as I rotate into sit in cash and don't F up, right? This, while it sounds like it's the worst thing in the world, you're not a trader if you're sitting in cash. I'm telling you right now, if there are no trades to make, don't make trades. Sit in cash and don't F up your portfolio. Let's go to Text Dog. Text Dog, maybe he's a fellow Texan like myself. Let's see what Text Dog had to say. Text Dog had to say, wow, my first trade with an outlier plan up over 14% in 2 days on Barrick Mining, which popped a buy on Wednesday, got out today ahead of earnings on Monday. Good choice, by the way. Always get out of a stock before earnings if you can do it. And he paid for a few years of outlier at just 82 cents a day. And now he's sitting in SGov and not effing up. So outstanding work, Text Dog. I'm really proud of you. And I'm proud of the 20 people and everybody who's watching live, learning how to trade. But I'm going to give away, 2 Amazon gift cards to these. So you have a 2 in 20, a 1 in 10 chance to win a $10 Amazon gift card right now. And if you are watching live and you put hashtag outlier in the chat, I'm going to give away a free one right there to somebody who's watching live. Like Tatus, dude, there's a great chance you could win, my friend. All right. So there were 20 individuals who put their name in the hat, and we're going to go to random.org, which is a random guy on the internet's favorite website. Let's click generate here. Number 19, one of my personal all-time favorite numbers. Dibonacci is the winner right there. Dibonacci is our first $10 Amazon gift card. Congratulations to Dibonacci. And then the second winner of the $10 Amazon gift card is number 3, and that is Bud Anderson. So congratulations to Dibonacci. Congratulations to Bud Anderson. And congratulations to you, because I'm about to click this button, and one of you is going to win live, like Corey's watching live. William's watching live. He just put, William, you spelled it wrong. OVTLYR. Do it quick. Change it quick. JS spelled it wrong too. OVTLYR. Derek, he's got it right. Dr. J got it right. Terry got it right. Chase got it right. Okay, I'm going to give you just 5 more seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Here we go. All right, who is going to win the live Amazon gift card? Who's it going to be? DM79. Let's go, DM79. You are the big winner today. Congratulations to you, DM79. The way that you can claim your $10 Amazon gift card is by shooting us an email over at support@outlier.com with your email address. And I'm going to email April right now so she knows that to be expecting you. And Friday's giveaway winner is DM79. Outstanding work, DM79, and outstanding work to Bud Anderson as well as Dibonacci. You 3 are the big winners today. Congratulations. I love doing this. This is so much fun to be able to do this, right? What YouTube channel do you watch that literally gives away money? I don't know. How about this one? And literally gives away free alpha. I don't know. How about this one? And literally gives away all of my trades for free here on the internet. Probably this one. And I just gave away my entire trading knowledge in OVTLYR University for free. At this point, you probably should be asking yourself, why haven't I subscribed to this random guy on the internet? Hey, let me introduce myself real quick. Once I get to that slide. My name is Christopher Ewell. I've twice been awarded top 100 people in finance. I was mentored by 5 of the market wizards, the best traders of all time. I've been successfully trading since 2009, and this is where outliers like us save time, make money, and start winning with less risk together as a team. So go ahead and subscribe if you haven't already. So I don't need to look at any exits today because I'm not trading anything, but I do want to take a look at the market overall, right? We've already talked about the market trend signal breadth. We've already talked about the tech sector. So if you want, how about we take a look at some of your stocks? Drop your stocks in the chat right now, and I will be glad to help you out in any way possible. And Andrew, thanks for that. Shout out to April. April would love to hear this. I'll let her know. Very helpful lady. Yeah, April is fantastic. April has been working with me since I sold my company to OVTLYR. And she has been incredible. I think I've been working with April for 4 years now. She's the best. Lucy is gone. Lucy the dog is gone, never to return because she wasn't my dog. We were just dog sitting her for a week. Lucy is gone. Let's see. All right, so let's take a look at some of your stocks. Aussie Ian wants to look at GDX. I have a particular disfinity. I don't know if that's the right word, Ian. Ian is one of our graduates, by the way. Congratulations to Ian for graduating from OVTLYR University. He wants to look at GDX. I have a particular disfinity for GDX because when I blew up my account the second time, it was trying to buy gold like crazy. So I bought GDX, GDXJ, Dust, Nougat, GLD. Anything gold related, I was buying as gold was in the most obvious downtrend of all time. And I was just a huge loser. And I didn't want to admit that I was wrong. And day after day, I let my account just evaporate. And I'll never do that again. And my goal here is to teach you the ways that you won't let that happen to you again. All right, let's look at GDX, right? We've got the 10 over 20, price over 50, a big move right here. Big move. Do we cover GDX? Bet we do. Oh, maybe we don't. That's okay. I know we covered GLD. So we'll still do some analysis on GLD. And we'll apply it to GDX. Now, GDX is the Gold Miners ETF. And I don't have GTX or GDX, but I do have GLD, which is the gold ETF. Now, gold is getting, hang on, market breadth. I think this is S&P 500 constituents, if I had to put it that way. And because this is GLD, it doesn't have constituents. So we're going to focus in on gold itself. So gold has a buy signal in an uptrend, and it's getting more and more greedy. And if we go over to the GLD chart, ooh, bashing right between these two order blocks here. By the way, go ahead and tell me order blocks don't work. Go ahead and try and explain that order blocks don't work. So I bet they do. Ian, in this case, if I were looking at this, I would actually compare GDX and GLD side by side because GDX is so dependent on GLD. And right now, GDX is definitely breaking out between these two. But I would just be really cautious on this one personally. Let's see. Spyros wants to look at Hood. Robin the Hood. People got quiet on Hood for a minute. I don't know why. Let's take a look, right? Hood is sitting on a buy signal, although it's been bouncing back and forth between buys and sells. It's in the financial sector. The sector, on average, is getting less greedy, more fearful. Doesn't quite have bullish breadth at all. So this is still going to be red down here. Remember, the trend of the market is still good. The stock itself does have a buy signal, does have a bullish trend, does have a trend, does have a buy signal. Fear and greed bottomed and is ticking back up ever so slightly. So that's looking good. Let's go to the chart real quick. And hang on, that didn't work like I wanted. Let's do this one here. Okay, let's do this for hood. Oh, look, that's where I made 96% in 3 days in May. That was awesome. And actually, hood looks really, really good. No order blocks on top of it, new all-time highs. Because the market and the sector are not set up, this would be a weak buy. However, if the sector can turn around, if the market can start getting a little bit more constructive, Robinhood looks like a really, really, really strong buy for me. Super duper strong buy. TTD, Chase. I saw TTD is one that's picking up a lot of news right now. I'm glad you mentioned it. TTD is a hot pile of garbage. You should stay as far away from this stock as possible. It did get a sell signal back on July 30th, right? It was getting, this is in the tech sector. The sector was getting less buy signals, less greed, and it peaked on its own fear and greed and started to come back down. But look at this sell signal, okay? This sell signal came on July 30th. Let's go to TTD. I don't know if you guys have seen TTD, but it got absolutely, without a doubt, unequivocally monkey hammered to death on June 30th. That was your escape card. That was your escape card right there on June 30th. And now it is down from here to here. Oh, it's only down 37%. This is a toxic stock. Do not get involved with TTD. Stay as far away from TTD as possible. Do not, under any circumstance, try and scoop this up by buying the dip. Because as TTD has shown, it can get a hell of a lot worse before it gets better and then back to getting worse again. And this is such a perfect example as why you don't buy the dip. Why you don't buy the dip, right? So TTD already in February had horrible issues after earnings, then went down how much after earnings? It went down 50% after it dropped. In fact, it dropped, how much did it drop? It dropped 30-ish% and then dropped another 50% after that. Okay. So this may just be the beginning on another humongous, horrible, no good, very bad move on TTD. Stay as far away from this as possible. Wild Stimpy Norwood must look at Wayfair. Must look at Wayfair. What is Wayfair stock symbol? I can't remember. Is it Way? Oh, it's just W? Okay. Oh man. Order blocks of the century up here. How many are there? There's 1, 2, 3, 4. It looks like it closed 2 of these, but it still has 2 more right above it. These are areas from May of 2024, from August and July of 2024. People trying to get out of Wayfair any way they can. I would not be buying Wayfair even if it was with your money. Even if it was with your money. Now listen, we got a big weekend ahead of us. I hope that is a great one for you. And over the weekend, you should probably look to save time, make money, and start winning with less risk by clicking one of these 2 videos. We will talk soon. Have a fantastic weekend.